So S equals this glorious monstrosity of a fraction, and we're told that if x times n is unequal to 0, which really means that neither one of them equals 0, what is the value of x? So the first thing we're going to do is simplify this monstrosity a bit. In the denominator, we're going to get a common denominator of those two smaller fractions, and we're going to do that just by multiplying this first fraction by 3 over 3. And of course, we're always allowed to multiply by a fraction like 3 over 3, because 3 over 3 really is just 1. So multiplying it doesn't actually change the value of anything. So then the numerator stays the same. What we get in the denominator is 3 over 3x plus 2 over 3x. Well, of course, that's going to be 5 over 3x. So then what we have is a single fraction in the numerator and a single fraction in the denominator. Well, fraction divided by a fraction, what that really means is the fraction on the top multiplied by the reciprocal of the fraction on the bottom. And so really what S boils down to is just 6x over 5n. So that's a much, much simpler expression. That is the value of x, and we'd like to find the numerical value of that. And so we would either need to know the numerical value of x and the numerical value of n, or at least what their ratio is. So statement number 1 tells us, very simple piece of information, statement number 1 tells us x equals 2n. Well, if x equals 2n, then s equals 6 times x, but we can substitute in 2n. Over 5n, and the n's cancel, and what we get is 12 over 5. So with statement number 1, we can actually find the numerical value of s. So statement number 1 is sufficient. Now forget statement number 1. Statement number 2 tells us that n equals 1/2. Well, that's interesting. We plug that in, we get that s equals 6x over 5 times 1/2. And we could simplify this, but the point is we're not actually going to get a number because we still don't know what x is. And because we know n and we don't know x, we can't find the value of this statement. And so this statement by itself is insufficient. Now, if simplifying all these fractions and working with fractions like this is something you find troubling, I highly recommend checking out Magoosh.com. Magoosh is an online prep agency that will help prepare you to take the GMAT. We have hundreds of videos to prepare you with math, hundreds more on the verbal side, and we will explain everything that you need to know about fractions. So even if it's been a long time since you've dealt with fractions, you can watch our informative videos and it will get you back up to speed dealing with fractions. You'll be in shape for the GMAT. Meanwhile, on this question, statement number 1 is sufficient, statement number 2 is insufficient, and that means the answer is A.